One of the things we went over yesterday, which is a crazy number, we were looking at the amount of money that was accidentally sent to Ukraine. Like they oversent $6 billion. And then I said, well, how much would it cost to rebuild every house in the Maui fire? And it's $5 billion, $5 billion something.
Yeah.
Like that's just like accidental money. Yeah. But there's no talk of doing that. Yeah. There's no talk of doing that. Isn't that interesting?
The way, and it's happened 2 or 3 times now where the Pentagon has said, oh, we miscalculated how much money we had set aside for Ukraine. So we have an extra $4 billion to send now that we didn't know we had. And this has happened a few times. Secretary of State Tony Blinken went to Kiev yesterday promising, hey, we're going to give you another $1 billion now. And this is the thing. When I was out there in Maui, person after person was like, Tulsi, tell me what would happen if we started to call ourselves Ukraine. You think they would give us some money then to take care of our families, to fix our roofs, that have been torn up by the hurricane winds that came through, to make sure we have clean water to drink? You think they might pay attention to us then? And then FEMA comes out, the FEMA director comes out and does this press conference. I think it was at the White House. And she says, well, someone said, well, what are you doing for Maui? She's like, oh, we're giving a one-time $700 payment to everybody who's been impacted by the wildfire. A one-time $700 payment.
It's insane.
Hawaii has the highest cost of living in the entire country. The entire country. And how freaking insulting is it to have the lead disaster response administrator from the Biden administration stand there and proudly say, hey, we're giving everybody one $700 payment.
It's insane. And it's insane especially because of how much money we're sending to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because there can be no doubt that these things are financially motivated now. That someone is making money off the Ukraine thing, and there's a reason why they're sending so much money.
Yes.
They have so much concern.
Have we ever seen a real war? I mean, when it first started, Putin came with a mile of tanks. You would think the guy would be hanging in 5 days. You know what? Their president, like when they went into Iraq and Saddam, and they got Saddam, and they hung him in front of the world. You would think that Russia would be able to do that in a few days.
Ukraine is very well armed now. We've sent them a lot of really good stuff, but they're losing a lot of soldiers. And the other thing about when they invaded it was at a time where the grounds were essentially marshy. They were concerned when it got colder, because then the trucks and the tanks could roll in on the dirt. But they were only coming in on the roads, and the Ukrainians were ambushing them on the roads.
Well, you hear that Russia is a superpower. I mean, on par with the United States.
Well,
We've always heard that, right?
They are, but they're not using the full force of their might. I think we've spent more in Ukraine than Russia has.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
Find out if that's true. I think that
one of the other things was our intelligence, the United States intelligence agencies, in the lead up as Russia was building up their, manning and tanks and everything at the border, our intelligence agencies were telling the president, telling the public that, hey, what did they say? They will take Kiev in days, in a few days, that Russia will take the capital of Ukraine. But even their intelligence proved to be vastly wrong.
Yeah.
Very, very wrong. And this is why, people use this fear tactic to justify sending all of these, hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. Say, well, if we don't do this, Russia's going to take all of Ukraine and then take over all of Europe. It's no, they don't have that capability. You're fear-mongering in order to continue to fund a war that's benefiting the military-industrial complex more than anyone else.
There you go. That's what it looks like. Just another one of those 20-year wars. Is this going to be 20 years,
Real similar to what we just got out of. And if you're looking at that in relation to what's going on in Hawaii, it shows what's wrong with the world.
And the
shows what's wrong with this
priorities, country. Frankly. Yeah. It is when you look at President Biden and his people announce oh, hey, look, he's going to take a break from his vacation at Lake Tahoe to go and visit the people.
What a good guy.
On Mount. Exactly.
Did you see when he went there and he started talking about a fire that he had? He almost lost his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what a fire is like. I almost lost my car once.
That is funny.
What?
It's like they do that on purpose. They have him just babble something,
No,
so you hear.
they can't stop him. I mean, he is the president. They are a bunch of dopes who work for him. Like the smartest one is probably that White House press secretary. Like when that's your ace in the hole, you got a fucking entire administration. Like think about that one guy that got busted because he was stealing women's clothes at the airport.
Yeah.
You know, he's non-binary.
Joe.
Our first non-binary
gosh.
person in the White House. Fantastic. And this dude just stealing ladies' clothes.
Oh,
Like
that
not
is funny.
once, not an accident. Like that's his thing. Steals people's bags, puts in their clothes, dresses up like them.
weird.
Oh man.
Brought their stuff to a hotel, threw
Yeah.
out some of it, kept other ones. I thought it was my bag.
Yeah.
What are you
That
gonna
is
do?
funny. Yeah.
Kooks, full
Over
of
and
kooks.
over.
And so there's no one running the show. The show's chaos, you know. And then the people that are involved, I'm sure, in the defense industry is like, listen, it'd be very nice if we can continue this project
Yeah.
and continue funding. And
I mean, watching Green and even watching Hilo's own mayor, Mitch Roth, I mean, it really seems and feels like the campaign is while they're signing these bills, this next bill that they signed that's going to do whatever, that's going to take Lahaina, that's him trying to get to the president. That's Josh Green trying to move up to the president, you know. Like,
Well, they care about themselves. That's what it comes
political
down to.
entrepreneurs.
and they're involved in a game. And the game is like if you're playing chess, you have to
Yeah.
abide by the Chess Federation's rules. You play in a certain allotted time. You know what to do.